Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals. We are sitting 5.5 right now in favor of the Eagles, 48.5 to 49. I played the Eagles. Guys, this is a prove it game to me. I know the trendy pick is the Cardinals this week, and I get it. It's the, if you believe in spots, it's the quintessential letdown spot. It is the Eagles going on the road against a team that they think is bad and they no-show. Well, if that's the case, for me, I think there's only two ways to play it. Either the Eagles show up and just prove that they're one of the best teams in the NFL and they stomp the Cardinals like they probably should, or you play the Cardinals on the money line because it's a no-show by the Eagles and the Cardinals just win the game outright. I don't see any reason to take 5 points in this game in the Cardinals. It's not going to be close. It's going to be one way or the other. The Eagles are going to beat an inferior team like they should, or the Cardinals are just going to win the game outright. I mean, Adam, when I look at this one, I see an Eagles team that there's pretty much no holes in this offense, no holes in this team, top to bottom on the offense or defensive side of the ball. If you want to nitpick something, Jalen Hurts has not been as great against the blitz. We know what the Cardinals do. They blitz and blitz and blitz and blitz and blitz. So that's why I say you either play the Cardinals money line or you just assume that Jalen Hurts gets it right and the Eagles just do what they're supposed to do, because the blitz is either going to affect them so much that they can't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, or they will have a game plan for the blitz and the Eagles are just going to stomp the Cardinals like they probably should.
I will tap the brakes on the Eagles because of this. Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville. They haven't necessarily played the toughest of competition, but here's why I have to say only tap the brakes, because they're not going to play anybody all year long. Right? Like, this schedule is horrible. So you're never going to get the game with the Eagles this year that says, oh, well, here comes the big showdown. We're going to find out if the Eagles are. No, like, the Eagles are going to continue to play teams that they're going to be favored against for the bulk of this year. So I can't get too far ahead of myself in saying, oh, well, let's wait until they play somebody. No, and somebody is certainly not Arizona. I think you can probably throw out that game last week with how bad Carolina ultimately is for Arizona. By the way, what did we do wrong to get this team in a 3-game afternoon window 2 weeks in a row? Goodness, that is horrible to have to watch Arizona again. So I'm with you, Matt. I like the way you're looking at this game. If I were to get involved, it would be Philly or nothing. I'm going to pass on it.
Steven, if we look at this, I mean, I don't know how you feel. Like, I backed Philly at 5. And again, it's like, to me, it was, I tried to sell it up to 5.5. I couldn't find in Nevada, I couldn't find a book that would let me do it. So I just had to take the 5. But it's a deal for me that Arizona, maybe when they get DeAndre Hopkins back, maybe we start to look at them at least a little bit differently, because they do have at least a one true playmaker out on the field for them on the offensive side. But as of right now, that's not them. It's a bottom 10 offense. It is a bottom 5-6 defense, something like that. So again, they're going to blitz. Does the blitz get home is basically the question.
How impressive were the Eagles last week, getting down 14-0 in the rain and still winning by 2 scores? Like, this is a physical football team that is imposing their will on defenses. And we thought Jacksonville has an above average defense. I thought that was extremely impressive last week. And on the flip side here, last year, the average yards per play in the NFL was 5.5. The Cardinals haven't reached that in a game yet. Like, if you're worried about the Eagles not showing up here, the Cardinals haven't shown up on time for kickoff the entire season to start the year. So I don't really care what they did against the Raiders and the Panthers, whatever. In games against the Rams and the Chiefs, which is much closer to the tier that we all believe the Eagles are in at this point, they got annihilated in those 2 games against the Rams and the Chiefs. And Arizona was outgained by 2.9 yards per play against those 2 opponents. Guys, that is massive, to be outgained by 2.9 yards per play. That's how you lose by 2 scores at home, right there, with a spread of only 5.5 here. And the Eagles will run it down your throat with this offensive line. They are number 2 in run block win rate. The Cardinals are number 27 in run stop win rate. And if they want to pass it, the Cardinals are number 26 and number 31 in drop back EPA and success rate. So pick your poison here. I don't know how the Cardinals defense stops this offense unless they just send the house on 0 blitzes and Jalen Hurts can't handle it. And on the flip side with Kyler, I mean, outside, he's taken such a big step back through the first month of the season from what we've seen when he was healthy in previous seasons. Outside the top 20 in EPA success rate and completion percentage over expectation. And the Philly defense is top 3 against the pass in 2 of those advanced statistics. They have 3, not 2, 3 top 5 corners in terms of PFF grade. And they are number 1 in pressure rate, despite being number 20 in blitz rate. Everything you could possibly want in a football team right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, and a lot of what you don't want in a football team is the Arizona Cardinals.
Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. We'll have a more in-depth video of this, of course, on the channel later on Sunday morning. But real quick, as we sit right now, Ravens 3.5 point home favorites in this one over Cincinnati, a total of 47.5 to 48. First bet I made all week, Bengals plus 3.5. I think Bengals money line is perfectly fine here. I understand Lamar Jackson playing at MVP level. I agree. That said, didn't look all that great the last couple of weeks. I think the Cincinnati team over time is going to just continue to get better and better and better. And what certainly heals all wounds is this Ravens defense right now. And I think Cincinnati, again, remember, Joe Burrow had the appendectomy, didn't get to play all preseason, didn't get rapport with the receivers. It's one of those deals where, Adam, if we take a look at this, I think if we're really going to kind of like nitpick, Cincinnati's early season performances, we just got to remember what the situation is. I think they only get better as the season goes along. And I think that this could be a big day for this offense against this defense.
I'm going to sound like I'm telling you the opposite of what I'm telling you at the beginning here. So bear with it. The Baltimore Ravens this year are 2-2. They've trailed for 14 seconds total. They've trailed for 14 seconds this year. That being said, the reason they're in the position to have trailed for 14 seconds is they've blown 2 3-score leads on this season. And that is absolutely concerning. This is hard for me. Baltimore is a team I am so much higher on than the rest of the market. And yet, even given that, my numbers come out to Baltimore 2.5. So normally I'm not worried about 1 point, but when that 1 point is the 2.5 to 3.5, then yeah, I'm a hard lean on Cincinnati for this game. I'll probably be in by the end of the week.
Steven, tell us why we're right about Cincinnati.
I bet it too. I bet 3.5. And if you want to hear why we're wrong, maybe about Cincinnati, our coworkers, at least Eli, I'm not sure about Mo, but he's on Baltimore here. He's got Baltimore Ravens futures. You can go read his arguments on the website in his bets column, and also beat the closing line. But yeah, the most interesting thing I saw this week in NFL media was from NFL Live and Dan Orlovsky and the NFL Live crew breaking down what's going on with the Bengals running fewer and fewer snaps out of shotgun, and Mina Kimes noting the increased number of under center snaps the Bengals have been trotting out there from week to week as we go along here. One of the most in-depth, well-researched pieces of content I've seen in the NFL this year. Go find it. It's another reason why I am very optimistic about the Bengals improving despite a really slow start against a weak schedule.